Chelsea look to extend their win streak against hosts Crystal Palace to 14 in a row. The two sides faced back in December, where Chelsea would win with a penalty in the 89th minute from Noni Madueke. It's not the first time Chelsea have snatched the win late during this streak of wins. October of 2022, Conor Gallagher scored in the 90th minute with a screamer of sorts. Hakim Ziyech came to the rescue 8 months earlier with a winner in the 89th minute. So it's safe to say we've ridden our luck in recent games, or just, you know, persevered, but many would argue it would be the prior. But can Chelsea find the spark to make it 14? Well, what was once a top spot in form, in the form table for Chelsea 5 games ago for the Blues, the most recent 5 games sees the Blues drop to 10th. I was going to say 5th, 10th. Perhaps showcasing that what Mauricio Pochettino was saying as of late about the progress being visible, that may have been a bit of an early call, albeit the Aston Villa game was pretty good. But again, take it with a pinch of salt is what I would say. Our away form, much to the surprise of absolutely no one, is awful as of late. Just 1 win in our last 6 away from home, 6 wins in our last 25. Not to mention, we're also coming off the back of back-to-back defeats in the league, despite our 3-1 win against Villa. For Palace, it's been a horrid time for them as of late. Just 3 wins in the last 15 games in the league. That said, however, the Eagles are unbeaten at home in the league since a 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, where that game too was also decided in the 90th minute. A pattern here of sorts, with Palace losing it late in important games. Team news-wise, no OLISE, no EZE, no Decore, no Gueye for Palace. Gueye. It's not looking good for them if Chelsea show up. For the Blues, it's the regulars that remain out. There's nothing really too new to sort of mention, I don't think. I'm unsure whether we're going to see Jackson up top or on the left again, which a lot of people have been really happy with Jackson on the left-hand side. So, I mean, the thing is with Pochettino, he's not one of the... if anything, he goes against the fans in terms of what we think is right, what we want, what we believe is to be correct for the club. You know, he's come out and said, he's questioned the you know, everyone's... what we're expecting, our expectations. I've gone over this a few times in recent previews and reviews, that our expectations are too high and that this is a different club. This isn't the Chelsea of 20 years ago. We know that. We know that. But at the same time, there's also other things like this with Jackson. Is that he's very evidently better on the left-hand side. Not just himself better than if he was to play as a striker, but arguably better on the left than Raheem Sterling, for instance, who, again, in this situation, I'm hoping for the latter in this scenario where Jackson plays on the left, especially as it would likely mean that we would see Sterling on the bench. It's no surprise, it's no shock that Thiago Silva and Sterling, I mean, I take it back, it's in hindsight not a shock, but you wouldn't think it would be the case with Aston Villa. We played no experienced players. They are the 2 most experienced players we have at the club, and they were both absent for the game, at least, you know, for the most part. Didn't start, is what I'm saying. And we looked the best we've looked in so long. I couldn't believe it. I don't think anyone could believe that we saw the Chelsea side we saw, especially coming off of 2 games where we've conceded 4 goals in a row. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is crazy. But again, going back to the injury lists, they've obviously got no EZE, no OLISE, who have both got hamstring injuries. Benoit Badiashile is a doubt with a groin injury sustained during the FA Cup against Aston Villa. Levi Colwill, who has been out for 3 weeks with a knee injury, will also be assessed, but again, very unlikely to see him playing. And if he does, at least Chilwell's back. So the chances are we would see Levi Colwill in the centre-back position. Trevor Chalobah, who has not been out, he's not going to be playing anytime soon, if ever again. Let's be completely honest with that. Back to, attacking Palmer up top, however, not something I want to see, and it's not because he isn't good. It's not for him. It is not for him whatsoever. And so I feel like he's so limited with what he can do when he's the main man up top, or the main man. He barely sees the ball, does he? That said, bits here, bits there. But at the same time, I think if Nkunku can start, I'd much rather see him there. But again, likewise, he didn't really do too much, did he? Defensively, I think it'll be a surprise if Thiago Silva is to start. But now I've seen, now that the confirmation has come out, that Badiashile obviously has a bit of an injury. We're going to see Thiago Silva. But again, there's been rumours circulating that the higher-ups believe that he is causing more harm than good to the style of play at Chelsea, which is ironic that Sterling's name wasn't always put in that because, again, let's be honest, deads the progress every single time we have the ball. Predictions-wise now, and I mean, if history is anything to go by, then it would be an easy guess that Chelsea will come away with the victory here, which, however... streaks are there to be broken, and it has to come to an end someday. And whilst Palace are in poor form and missing a few key players, they'll struggle to find a better time to get that loss streak gone than against this Chelsea side as of late, because anything can happen with this Chelsea side when you're the other side. That said, if Chelsea play anything like we did against Villa, I believe it could be a very easy road to a 14th consecutive victory in all competitions against the Eagles. 2-0 is my prediction in favour of Chelsea. I just think it's unlikely that we'll see anything else, which if you look at the history of these predictions, when I've done previews in the past, you'll see that when a win seems a formality, it tends to end badly. It really does. A win, however, is imperative in order to keep any hopes of a European spot alive, with Chelsea just 5 points off of that 7th place with a game in hand.